It's time for Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears, with your hosts, Alex.
Gosh, I have so many questions. Also, where's my car?
Splash.
Strive to love something as much as my grandmother loves buying new crock pots.
And Mac.
If you've ever been to Boston, you know that they have amazing ice cream.
Coming to you from coast to coast, it's L-A-R.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Losses Above Replacement. We have some breaking news. In the baseball version of Thunderstruck, we sadly announced that Matthias Altman-Kurosaki, our third co-host, has been drafted by the Cleveland Browns. And Shedeur Sanders will actually be joining us permanently on the podcast. So let me welcome in Shedeur real quick. Let me make sure his stream's connected because he's surely not doing anything on the football field. He's had a pretty lackluster couple days. So Shedeur, welcome in. Hi, Splash. It's an honor to be on the podcast. Shedeur with the Rolex. As they say, pressure makes diamonds. Diamonds make rollies. So go Buffs.
Splash, that was the dumbest intro we've ever done, and we're definitely keeping it. That's great.
Okay. I think if we had a graphing the lunacy of the intro and whoever did the intro, I would be like 100%.
No, the problem is, though, yours, we'd have to remove the data point because it's an outlier.
If it's all outliers.
If it's all outliers, then no thing's an outlier.
Yes, I would compare my intro styles to position players pitching.
That's fair. It's fun.
It raises the ERA. Like Alex and Mac have like pretty good intros, and then mine are like just off the wazoo. Just
to be fair,
we're gonna allow a bunch of runs today.
To be fair, I've 100% stolen my intro from a very old game show. So,
real. Well, Alex, how are you, pal?
Elimination Challenge, great show. Anyway, please continue.
How are you, pal?
Oh, I'm doing good. Honestly, yeah, no, it's been a few days. I actually have the house myself for a weekend, so I can just kind of chill out, have a little fun. I actually, for those MLB The Show players out there, I just beat the Extreme Moments here while we're doing our pre-production meeting, the one that was the score 10 runs in one inning with the Diamondbacks against the Cubs. So I'm kind of riding high on that, I'm going to be honest with you.
10 runs in an inning. In any video game, it's very difficult, just with how baseball, like the luck of baseball. So yeah, congratulations, Alex. On my end, I'm doing all right. You have to go into work tonight. We're recording on a Saturday.
We had to wait until Shedeur was drafted.
Yes, that is true.
So then that he could switch with Mac in an amazing trade sequence here to bring Shedeur to the podcast.
Yes. So the Browns traded up for Mac. We traded up for Shedeur Sanders.
I still think the Browns got the better of that deal.
Perhaps.
I mean, we know Mac's a generational talent, man.
That's true. He
knows that ice cream is really good in Boston.
That's true. And Shedeur will play in Boston, Foxborough, once every 3 or 4 years, maybe.
Something like that.
So, congratulations to all the draftees. The Ravens have had a pretty solid draft, from what I can tell. They drafted a Georgia player, which makes me. I don't love Georgia, but that's okay.
Congrats.
My guy Ashton Genty went number 6 overall. Yes, sir. The jersey is in the mail very soon.
Congrats to my boy Cam Ward on going number 1, former Cougs quarterback. Hell yeah.
Yes. What is more shocking? A former Washington. Ooh, take that back. A former Incarnate Wood.
I thought it was Incarnate Word. It's Word.
Oh, okay. Incarnate Word.
Trust me, I got blasted on social media for that a little bit ago.
All right. Incarnate Word quarterback going number 1 overall, or a Boise State running back going number 6 overall.
The Incarnate Word going number 1 is.
I feel like that would be true. Imagine if he came straight out of there, though.
There's no chance.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no chance.
Like you'll get an occasional like FCS guy.
Yeah.
Or D2 guy in the draft.
Yeah, but they're usually like 5th, 6th round. Sometime.
Yeah. Like I remember when the Pats took Kyle Duggar, top 40 out of Lenore Ryan. I think that's D2. Might be D3. I think it's D2. Or Quinn Miners was D3, 3rd round pick. He's awesome, by the way. All-pro guard for the Broncos. This is not a football podcast, but we spent 5 minutes.
This is not a football podcast. This is a baseball podcast.
Yes, it is a baseball podcast, and we shall start the baseballing with players who are not going to be baseballing right now. We have a little bit of an injury roundup, a pitching injury roundup. We have the best pitcher in baseball going down. We have Logan Gilbert going down, and we have a popular Cy Young pick going down. That would be Spencer Strider, then Logan Gilbert, and then Christopher Sanchez. So, Alex, I would assume you'd like to talk about Logan Gilbert first.
Whatever gave you that idea, Splash?
Maybe the color of your hat.
I mean, color of my hat for the YouTube audience, the logo that's right there, the Mariners thing that's right. There we go, making camera work. Yeah, yes. I definitely was not actually posting at that. But no, I mean, it's frustrating. Yesterday honestly felt like a fever dream from a Mariners fan perspective. First off, Dylan Moore gets a home run righty that was absolutely crushed. It was not a gimme home run. He destroyed that ball. Next, Logan Gilbert goes out after setting down the Marlins 1-2-3 in 29 pitches through 3 innings. That's okay, this dude's going. He's on track for a CG right now. And then he gets injured. No one talks about it, but a radio that eventually says that it was upper arm tightness here, and he is out of the game. And then Casey Lawrence comes in and throws 87 pitches. Yesterday just felt like a fever dream, and because Logan Gilbert's been pitching really well this year, already just shy of 1 WAR on the season. And he was making his case for AL Cy Young. I hope he is not as hurt as it could, because whenever you hear upper arm tightness or any tightness in that area, the first thing that comes to mind is a former player name, and Tommy John. You hate, and you do not want to see that happen. You hate to hear it. Here. However, there's been some good news that has come out of Mariner camp talking about this, saying that the damage looks like it's not as bad, but not zero. So there's hope that he's just going to need a little bit of time here, not require surgery. But if it's Tommy John, then he's out for the rest of this year and potentially all of next year too.
Mm-hmm.
Which and is truly tragic.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a player named internal brace.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty unfortunate name. But yeah, it's tough seeing one of the best pitchers in baseball go down. Even if it's just missing a start, that sucks, and the Mariners have to, figure it out. You're still down George Kirby, and as good as the Mariners staff is, when you're dipping into that well of 6th, 7th, 8th starters, you have a chance to really struggle. Emerson Hancock so far is a 7.7 ERA.
Although I want to go back on. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I do apologize here, but I want to make sure I clear some of the air about Emerson Hancock. That ERA is because of one game. His very first one where he did not make it out of the first inning. His last outing was actually pretty darn solid. So
okay, fair enough.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. Fair. I needed to get that out there.
Yes, he has lowered his ERA from 81 to 7.5. But
exactly,
I mean, his a 3.27 ERA in his last 2 starts. George Kirby would be pitching better than that.
Of course, he would.
In all likelihood, 2 walks in 11 innings. George Kirby would never do that. But regardless, when you're dipping into these, like Emerson Hancock's made 3 starts. The other Luis Castillo has made multiple starts. Mm-hmm. You're dipping into that 6th, 7th arms. It's just not as reliable as Logan Gilbert, right? I'll hop over to the Braves. Spencer Strider is on the IL again, this time with the hamstring injury. I don't know if it's 2 weeks. I don't know if it's a month. I don't know if it's longer than that. It's a grade 1 hamstring strain, so hopefully it's not too long of an absence. But when you're Atlanta and you are already behind the 8 ball in a lot of ways with an 11-14 start, you are still last place in the division, by the way, because the Nats and Marlins have been competent. You're starting Bryce Elder. He's made 4 starts already. AJ Smith-Shawver has made 3 starts. And when you're already down, Ronaldo Lopez, who will miss most of the season, and Strider has made 1 start. Like, the number 3 starter for Atlanta is Grant Holmes. And that gets really screwy because it's hard enough having 2 or 3 like awesome pitchers. And I would have argued entering the season, the Braves had really 4 guys in theory that were top. I don't know about top 30 arms because I don't know where you want to rank Ronaldo Lopez, but Strider, Sale, and Schwellenbach to me were all like top 30 starters. Like they would be potentially the number 1 pitcher on a decent number of teams. And then Ronaldo Lopez, I thought, would be at least a good 2. Lopez is down. Strider is down again. So now you're just dipping into non-major league starting pitchers. Yeah. And Grant Holmes, great story. He has a 3.22 ERA. He's pitched fine. Bryce Elder shoved his last time out. AJ Smith-Shawver has had some moments, but it's really tough to get on a roll when you're starting a AAA level arm, and even a rotation as good as the Mariners, as deep as the Mariners. Yeah. The Dodgers run into this issue. The Dodgers have like 3 rotations worth of MLB pitchers, but at a certain point, you're going to roll snake eyes and you're going to get a bad start from the guy you're calling up from AAA. You're going to get a bad start from a Landon Knack, who is a 7 ERA right now, or Justin Robleski had a start, got shelled. Bobby Miller got a start. He got shelled. When you have 9 different guys, they've had 9 different guys take a start this season. Yeah, you get Yamamoto, who's been unreal. We'll talk about him later. Sasaki has had a 3 ERA. He walks everybody, but a 3 ERA is a 3 ERA. Dustin May's a 3 ERA. Glasnow's a 3 ERA. Snell, 2 ERA. A couple unearned runs there. But then your Knack innings, your Robleski innings, your Miller innings have really bit into what you're trying to do. And I think this is a good transition to Philadelphia with Christopher Sanchez, who will miss his next start on Tuesday with is it shoulder? I sure hope it's not shoulder.
I really hope not either.
The Philadelphia Inquirer has led me astray. It sent me to it feels normal again after throwing, uncertain when he will pitch again.
Okay. So at least at that point, like there's hope, but
yeah. So it looks like he's going to avoid the IL, but it's news on the forearm, and like you said with Gilbert, a forearm is a little sketchy, and this is a chain of command issue that as soon as you get one injury as a pitcher, whether it's a blister, Max Scherzer's had thumb issues this season, leg issues, Strider has this hamstring issue, arm issues especially. Pitchers need all of the body to be firing on all cylinders. If you're Spencer Strider, you're 72 inches of frame. They all need to be firing here. So if your hamstring's at 92%, that can be shaky. Then you're compensating for it in other ways. And that's how you get injuries in other spots potentially. That if you're not in perfect mechanics, you're dropping your arm slot. That's a big, injury indicator that we've seen in recent years as Baseball Savant, for example, gets more and more data that you'll have guys that are dropping or raising their arm slot to try to find something that doesn't hurt. It's one thing if you go between seasons like 24 to 25 and your arm slot changes. Okay, that could just be a mechanical thing. But if your arm slot is moving throughout the season, and it's not intentional, like was it Manaea for the Mets that watched Chris Sale and decided to drop his arm slot and then just became unhittable down the stretch. Yeah. Like that's that can be a telltale sign when the chain of actions is screwed up. That can lead to injuries, and it's a worrisome thing. The Phillies have a really deep rotation. They have 5 legitimate starters, and then you have Andrew Painter, their top prospect. So it's like, okay, you have depth, and then Taijuan Walker, which I don't love it, but
did he throw like 27 first pitch strikes his last time out? Something like that. Yeah. So I kind of want to go back a little because I agree 100% with what you're saying here. That there's a phrase that has been thrown around for years and years and years, and that is that you can never have enough starting pitching. The baseball season itself is grueling. 162 games is not like you put that against any other of the major sports, and they laugh at you. You put that, it's like you try to make any other athlete in their sport play that many games, and everyone's going to get hurt. That's just how it works.
Like you'll have NFL players who can double their games played. Hall of Fame players can double their games played and won't be one full MLB season.
Exactly. And that's what that's kind of what we have to make sure we are looking at here, is that you're going to have injuries. Like, it's just a matter of how severe and how many overall. Because like with Seattle, like I want to bring it back to Seattle here for a sec here with Logan Gilbert. Yeah, you're losing an ace, and hopefully he, is not hurt and he's going to come back and it's going to be okay. But yeah, you're now running out guys like Emerson Hancock, running out guys like Luis F. Castillo. And I'm hearing some potential reports that they're going to call Logan Evans to make a start here on this. And look, I think that these guys are good. They're not amazing, but they're okay. The problem is you need better than okay if you're going to keep on pitching. And that is not where they're at the moment here. Remember, going into this season here, it was a pretty high, I'm not even going to say agreement here, but there was a very real consideration that Seattle had the best starting staff. When you have guys like Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Luis M. Castillo, there we go, and then Bryce Miller and Brian Wu, all those five together are dominant. You pluck one from that first with Kirby. Okay, now you have to put in an Emerson Hancock here. And if Hancock makes a mistake, then now you're hurting in that game and you're going to lose another game. Well, now it was like if you have, let's say you have Logan out now two of your starting, 40% of your starting rotation is now replaced with AAA level talent, which again, can be okay half time. It's why you need to have a like depth at the starting pitcher position. There we go. I can talk. You need to have that because otherwise you are going to fall apart. That's just how the game itself works. You got to be ready for these kinds of injuries. But again, like you said, going to the well too much here, it starts to really take effect on you. Like, think about this for a second. I'm going to use a really weird analogy here for a sec here.
Join the club.
Yeah. So imagine you have like a salsa with you, and you have chips, and you have all the good stuff that's on the top, right? That you're planning on going to. If you go to that too many times without kind of like, swirling around or all that, eventually you're just going to left with the grud on the bottom of it, and that's what you're going to be left with. Look, don't keep going to the well. I understand that you can't help it at this time, especially if you're a team like the Mariners, but you really have to be careful. You really got to hope that Seattle's able to not lose Logan Gilbert for the year, just like how Atlanta is hoping you're not going to lose Strider for that long. How Christopher Sanchez, if he goes down, now if you're Philadelphia in a really hot race for the NL East, you really can't have one of your aces going down.
Consider for a moment, the Mariners only had 6 starters make 2 starts last season. The Mariners have already had 6 starters make 2 starts or multiple starts this season. George Kirby will come back and he'll be the 7th. And if Logan Gilbert misses any time, you'd have 8. And it's April 26th. Like I said preseason, I had my worries about the amount of quality starts that the Mariners had. And I didn't think they were going to replicate that. And obviously I'm not wishing for injuries. It's just a math. At a certain point, it's math.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason they were historic levels of quality starts and historic levels of they only had 6 guys. Well, Jonathan Diaz made 1 start. They had 6 starters basically for 161 games. That is
unlikely.
That is an outlier among outliers. Gilbert, 33 starts. Kirby, 33 starts. Miller, 31 starts. Castillo, 30 starts. Wu, 22 starts. Then you get Hancock for 12. Okay. You basically had your 6th the entire season. That is incredibly unlikely to replicate. And it stinks from a baseball fan perspective when you don't watch some of the best pitchers in baseball. And of course, again, the Mariners have one of the best rotations in baseball. Haven't exactly pitched like it so far, but you're down Kirby, you might be down Gilbert. So
you're 1 and 2. That's just nasty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
on top of it, like, as well, we don't know how the severity of Logan Gilbert's injury. Like, I was actually thinking during like pre-production of this, do we want to have a conversation about which injury is more significant for like between the 3 of them? And the problem is, I don't think it's a conversation, especially with what we've heard so far about Spencer Strider, that's a hamstring, that's more like he's going to be back in a month, maybe.
A month?
Yeah, something like that. You have Christopher Sanchez, which they've already said he's fine.
He'll miss his next start, but he could avoid the IL, and then we don't really know with Gilbert.
And with Gilbert, it could be anywhere from misses a start to misses this year and the next.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one, the award has to go to Seattle on that.
Mm-hmm. My only pushback is where Atlanta is in the standings compared to where Seattle is.
I mean, Seattle's competing for first right now. They're only half a game back of Texas.
Like if this is like a war replacement, it's I think neck and neck between Seattle and Atlanta. I think Philly has the horses to maintain, and this isn't saying that Seattle and Atlanta don't have good pitching depth, but it's depth, right?
Yeah.
If you're Sanchez, he's one of the four horses, the big horses in the Philly rotation, and that's doesn't seem to be a super serious injury, and the Phillies are in a better spot than the Braves are right now. The Braves are a last place club. You are missing a player that both Alex and I said was the best pitcher in the National League entering last season.
Yeah.
That is pretty catastrophic. And
it is.
If you operated the entire offseason as if Strider's going to come back and make 25 starts or 30 starts, and now, of course, the Mariners and Phillies said, oh, yeah, Sanchez and Gilbert are going to make their 30-plus starts. So those other two teams like made those beds, and they're going to lie in them. But the Braves, it's Gilbert is like the true ace, I would say, of the Mariners staff, while Strider is probably a co-ace at this point, given that he missed an entire year with injury. And you have the reigning Cy Young winner in Schwellenbach, who is better than Chris Sale at this point. So that's my only pushback, that the Braves need reliable pitching a smidge more than the Mariners do right at this very moment, just the standings and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that's my only pushback there.
I understand the argument. I'm going to disagree, but that's
I'm not saying it's like 100%.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
It's
but I definitely understand. Yeah, I definitely understand. It sucks that we have that conversation because we know that at this point, we know the Braves are a lot better than what they're showing right now. As much as it may hurt, but they could be a lot better in Seattle. Somehow has shown that they're better than what the first couple weeks of the season did. Where now they're at 5 straight winning series. Although to be fair, that's a jeopardy tonight, as they lost game 1 of the series against the Miami Marlins.
Consider for a moment, the Mariners are 3rd in the American League in runs per game and 2nd in the American League in OPS plus.
Remember that this team also currently employs, and I'm sorry I'm going to do this here, and this is not a do to you. I hate I have to keep saying it. This team still currently employs Donovan Solano, whom, as much as I believe in him in the past, and I want him to do better, you can't really defend the fact that he has a batting average that closely resembles a jersey number, not from MLB Power Pros. Like, that's I'm sorry, dude, but
he has 3 total bases and 40 plate appearances.
Yep. And I saw one of them live.
Unfortunately, that's better than Jock Peterson's doing right now.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, here's the thing. Like, I really don't want to be mean to Donovan Solano. I know he is trying, and I know that he has done well in his past.
Silver Slugger.
But right now, it's just painful watching him try to hit. Like, right now he looks like Luis Arias who can't hit, which is
not a great baseball player.
No. And again, I mean, no disrespect. I'm just looking at what's happening with the team. Bring up Locklear. I'm sorry, just do it.
All right. Well,
okay, I'm going to go on a random little tangent, just a mini one here for a sec. We talked about with starting pitchers here that losing one creates a domino effect where everyone goes up and now you have a AAA one at the bottom of it. The Mariners had that in the offense somehow with Victor Robles when he had his injury here, which again, please heal up. Well, we need our boy. But when he gets injured, that means that Luke Raley now has to be your everyday right fielder. Luke Raley was splitting time between right field and first base, and now he's your everyday right fielder. So now you have no one playing first, which means that now you are split between Donovan Solano and Rowdy Tellez playing first base for your Seattle Mariners. And, there's one more name that I haven't said that's also playing a decent amount at first. Dylan Moore has been playing first base. Don't get me wrong, and I will not slander Barry Bonds. I mean Dylan Moore here and his utility Gold Glove, but you see the chain effect. The chain reaction going on where just the injury to Robles has now moved everyone around. And now because of that, first base went from being a position that you were hopeful for to one that you're kind of about.
Mm-hmm. Well, from a sad conversation to a happier conversation, we are, I don't know how to say a new segment. I think we've done it.
We've done this before.
But we have a franchise trade cut, buy, hold, sell, that sort of segment. We have 3 players. We have done, we've each chosen 2 trios. I have a trio of starters and a trio of 24-year-olds, or 23-year-olds, I'm sorry. And Alex has a trio of first basemen and a trio of outfielders. And we just decide, hey, you have these 3 players. Who do you want starting? Who are you putting on your bench? And who are you cutting? Whatever terminology you want to use. Start, bench, cut, start, trade, cut, whatever. 1, 2, 3. That's the name of the game.
I personally go to start, trade, cut, because at least with trade, you get some value back.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, and that actually goes with when we were talking in pre-production. That's what goes into some of my decision where I'm like, oh yeah, this person I think has more trade value than this person does at this. So that influenced some of my decisions. Yeah,
we're gonna start with a spicy one.
26
26-year-old starting pitchers, age according to Fangraphs. 26-year-old starting pitchers. Alex, please decide between Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Hunter Green, and Garrett Crochet.
Yeah, so for me on this one, the start is easy. It's Crochet. Crochet just nasty. Like, I just watched him play against Seattle, and that was one of his worst starts. And he still looked dang good. He threw 120 pitches, really showing that he has stamina. Yeah. He threw 120.
Whoa. Okay, I gotta pause there. I gotta
I was shocked
this.
too when I saw that he went that far.
I gotta verify this one.
Please
Garrett
do,
Crochet,
because I want
120 pitches?
Around 120 pitches, yeah. He definitely cleared the 100 mark with more to spare.
Okay, it was 110.
Oh, it was 110? Okay, I thought I saw it get to 115, but okay.
Fair
enough. Still, 110 pitches.
110 pitches in 5 innings. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing, Mr. Crochet?
Yeah, but anyway, regardless, I still take Crochet over that. I think then the other 2 were Green and Yamamoto. All right, I am going to trade Yamamoto. Because I think with Yamamoto, he's really shoving to begin this year, but he also has a lot more trade value than Hunter Green has at the moment. I think that Green is a great pitcher. He's going to be a really good, darn good starter. I just think that Yamamoto has a little bit more value at the moment.
Okay, I'm going to pull up the Baseball Reference, the world famous comparison here. So at least this season, they've been balling. Can I zoom in, please?
There you go.
Nope, wrong direction. Nope. All right, so we're gonna zoom in a little bit here.
There we go. For the
so they've been very similar pitchers. Yeah. They all have a Green kind of got bombed by the Orioles in his last start on David Rubenstein bobblehead night.
That's another discussion.
That's a topic that should have been one of our segments.
That should, it could have been. Yeah,
like the Wars are right there together. They have a little bit of different shape in the production. Of course, Yamamoto has the huge arsenal. Hunter Green is the hardest throwing starter in the league with, I don't want to say minimal off-speed offerings or minimal non-fastball offerings, but he is a fastball dominant pitcher. And then Garrett Crochet, his difference maker here is that he's a lefty, and that lefties are nice. So I think this is a fun conversation.
Yeah.
I would think I would take I might take Yamamoto, honestly.
Yep, that's honestly very fair. Yamamoto's got great stuff. He's a really darn good starter. You would take a look at the stats here we have pulled up again. You can see all this on YouTube at Losses Above Replacement on YouTube. Go ahead and give us a subscribe and a like. It's good times.
Yeah, you could be our 1,000th subscriber.
Yeah, the fact that we're nearing 1,000 is insane.
Yeah, we're at 921, I think, as of this morning.
Let's go. But anyway, you take a look at what he's got here, and he's done exceptionally well. Look, a 1.06 ERA is not only a scoff at, but even more than that, the 3.56 ERA plus and a 32.6 K rate that's nuts. So you have every right for putting Yamamoto number one as well.
Yeah, I think there's really high upside with all three of these pitchers. I think none of them have reached their true ceiling yet. And like I said, they all get there a little bit differently. Green and Crochet, I would classify as more power arms, especially Green. And then Yamamoto can dial it up, of course, but he's, to me, closer to like the Max Fried type, that the velocity is not like the velocity is like the side dish. The repertoire, the pitchability is the entree. And then of course you have like Paul Skeens, who just gives you like steak and lobster. That might be the best. That is like one heck of a
that's surf and turf right there.
Yeah. So Paul Skeens is like ordering a double entree. I love it.
It's like everyone is going to McDonald's. Well, he's ordering at Red Lobster.
Yes, he is ordering the filet and the fish.
The filet and the mignon.
Yes, that's a good one. All right, Alex, we'll throw it over to you. What is your comparison?
All right, so I got a bunch of outfielders here for you.
Okay.
Here, for these outfielders, I wanted to go with fairly young guys, but very different profiles amongst them. But it's a little similar in maybe the speed category here.
Sure.
So your three options for start, trade, cut are Pete Crow Armstrong, Corbin Carroll, and Young-Hoo Lee.
All right, this is a fun one. I got the graphic pulled up here. Unfortunately, I have to cut Young-Hoo Lee. I am a huge fan of his. I'm a huge fan of everything he means. And like he is an Aura King. Unfortunately, PCA is also an Aura King. Like,
this picture really does not show it. This picture scares me.
Yeah, that's true for both of them. So Lee has been just tremendous so far this season. He's been plus defense in center field. He runs the bases well. He's hitting 330. He's walking. He's hit for some power. He dominated at Yankee Stadium, which was a lot of fun to see. But I think he's a clear third. And then the conversation is Carroll versus PCA. And I think there's merit to both. And I'm going to point out that this is a little sacrilegious to say in terms of Corbin Carroll. He's a more established player. He's a known commodity, rookie of the year, all-star, top 10 in MVP voting. And then last year he was awesome in the second half. I spurred that, by the way. So Corbin Carroll, I know you have a contract extension. Can I have like 1/10 of 1% of that?
Please, Sam. I would like to pay off a lot of debt.
Yeah, that'd be great. So your profile here is comparing. They're both plus speed. I think they're basically going to give you equivalent base running value.
Yeah,
they'll be like 1 and 2 or 1 and 3. If you look at like Fangraphs base runs, they'll both be like top 5.
Oh, easily.
So,
and that's even with guys like Ellie De La Cruz that's out there.
That's with some great base runners across the league. They are 2 plus base runners, speed and savvy and whatever attribute you want from a base runner. They both are elite at it.
Yep.
Now you're discussing: do you want Carroll being a good right field defender or passable center field defender, but being an awesome hitter, or PCA being an unknown as a hitter with some major whiff, but a all-world defensive center fielder?
Right.
So if we were having a strictly WAR conversation, I'm actually leaning PCA a little bit. Like if I had to guess rest of season who has the most WAR, PCA is a pretty solid bet to me, especially if the wind is blowing out at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
Like 5 homers for PCA. Like he's a guy that was considered, he's a defense first player. This would be like if Darren Erstad suddenly hit a bunch of bombs, or Michael Bourne suddenly hit a bunch of bombs, right? Or, pick your favorite Gary Maddox if you're from that ilk. But Carroll, I think Carroll's the pick. Just a sensational player. The speed is great. The bat speed from his frame is ridiculous. The whip he creates in his swing,
the torque is insane.
Yeah. And it hits lefties too, which is a plus. He doesn't have the same swing and miss issues. I trust that he will be a good hitter, potentially great hitter. PCA, if he's a 100, you enter the season and if you say if he's a 100 OPS plus bat, that's a plus. Carroll, if he's a 100, that's a disappointment. So I'll take Carroll. But if you're just WAR, if we were drafting a WAR draft today and it was outfield agnostic, I might take PCA over Corbin Carroll. I think they're both would be my top 10 picks.
Yeah. Yeah, and it feels kind of bad because, again, Young-Hoo Lee is an amazing player. He's so much fun to watch. Like, watching him play is just, fun is the best way I can describe it here. But I have the same conversation with you, like the same conversation that you did between PCA and Corbin Carroll. And for me, I give the edge to Carroll. I think that Corbin Carroll as a player is so interesting to me because he has the speed, he has pretty solid defense, and he's got power to boot. He has all the tools. It's just about putting them all together. We've seen what happens when he does. He becomes like an MVP level player on that team, on the same kind of team that also employs one Kettle Marty, like Ketel Marte. Like, it is fun watching him play, and he has earned a lot of respect here from the rest of Major League Baseball. I will also say on a sentimental note here, Seattle kid, love that. Also, when he made his entrance at the 2023 All-Star game here, when Tom Hutler gave him the announcement of "Welcome Home, Corbin Carroll," and I nearly cried. But but anyway, like PCA again, like you say, kind of unknown with the bat in his hands. But when the bat is not in his hands, you know what you're getting. What you're getting is amazing. You're getting amazing base running. You're getting stolen bases. You're turning those singles into doubles for free. You're turning those doubles into triples for free. Like and on top of defensive wise, the dude's got speed and he's got an arm. The dude can hurl it. I don't know if you've seen his throws from center.
Oh, he's a hose. Like he's like not built like a traditional like I have a hose, but he has a hose. Like six flat 184. He's not like Jose Guillen. He's not Vlad Senior. He can throw the baseball.
Exactly. So I think overall I have to give it to Corbin Carroll. Also, the one thing, like you said, you don't like this as much, and I'm kind of on the same path, but I do value it at least a bit here, and that is the fact that he's already been in the big leagues for a bit. Here for Corbin Carroll, he's a little bit more established, and I think I want to see what's going to happen with PCA as we get a little further into his career. How well is he going to adjust? Because speed is something that you can't teach. You can teach fundamentals with base running. You can teach, good mechanics in the outfield. You can teach hitting, kind of. Depends where you're at.
Yeah.
You can't teach speed. Speed is something you work on and you're gifted with. So, with that being said, though, I go with Carroll.
Yeah, it's a fun one from like a WAR conversation. We've all seen the graphics. We see them get posted. We have the Ryan Howard versus Nick Punto. This week was Brett Gardner versus Don Mattingly. I have a defense for Brett Gardner.
Okay.
But people I had one that would you rather have Chipper's career or Griffey's career? Because they're like a WAR separate, same time span, number one picks, Hall of Famers. Any time span other than the entire career, Griffey wins on WAR. But if you go the entire career, which includes a final season for Chipper that he was good and a final season for Griffey that he was well below average, then Chipper takes the lead. So that's the only argument for Chipper is you have to have the entire career. So
I'll say one thing real quick here. This may be a clip that we use for YouTube here. Speaking of Brett Gardner, I have one memory of him that is not even real. It's not even real. It's from the Bigs 2 video game here, where he had legendary fielding in that game, which meant that you were making insane catches. And one of the times you play a World Series against the Yankees. And I always referred to him as the robot because he made every catch automatically. Like, I think of those like spectacular catches, he was like 12 for 12 on them, robbing extra base hits. And I'm like, I can't beat this guy. And so I was scared of him for a while. And then I see, in real life, he's still making good plays, but not at that level. I'm like, okay, this man is actually real.
Yeah. The Chipper Griffey conversation might be a fun one to have in the offseason another time.
Oh, absolutely. I think we've had it before, but I'd love to have it again. I feel like we've had to at some point, right?
Yeah. Because like I said, if you break it down into any year chunk, 1 year, 2 year, whatever, all the way up to 20, other than 20, it's Griffey. But if you go 20, if you go entire career, you can make an argument for Chipper.
Yep, exactly.
So question number 2 for you, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
We have Ellie De La Cruz versus Wyatt Langford versus Christian Campbell. 3 23-year-olds.
So I'm just going to start out with the obvious. Well, in my opinion, is the obvious. I'm starting Ellie. Ellie is just a freak athlete. Man, watching him play the game is electricity personified.
Okay.
Like, that's what he is. That's what he does. It does get close between Wyatt Langford and Christian Campbell, but I think I'm pretty set with what I'm thinking here. I am going to trade Wyatt Langford. Mm-hmm. I think that he is a fantastic player as well. Him with the bat in his hands is scary. The dude can just flat out hit. I mean, an OPS of 1129 so far in the season, OPS plus of 228 here. The dude is awesome. Christian Campbell, I am cutting purely because of the unknown. We don't know fully what we're getting with Christian Campbell.
And the funny thing is, he's the only one that's been extended.
Yeah, which... One of these guys has been on the cover of a video game. One has been extended. The other is Wyatt Langford. It's jeez.
Oh,
like,
man.
It's you don't know what you're getting with Christian Campbell yet. I think he's going to have a pretty darn good career overall. But if I'm choosing one to build around, as well as, from an owner standpoint, I think Ellie puts in more butts in seats. Yeah. But at the same time as well, Ellie is just such a phenomenal player. Like, I just can't wait until he puts all of it together. Because he has the power, he's got the speed, he's got a cannon of an arm. Here, it's just about, can you play very solid shortstop, and then can you turn the power and contact into the same thing for a bit?
Yeah, and if you just look at like the shape of the WAR this season, Ellie plus base runner, plus fielder at short, Langford a plus fielder in the outfield. Campbell has been a minus fielder. He's played a little bit of everywhere. Langford, of course, the big plus with the bat, 228 OPS plus so far. I agree with you. I think Campbell is the easy cut. Unfortunately, this is a group of like really talented players. This is not definitely. This is not Campbell getting benched for Jed Lowry, with all due respect to Rates and Barrels legend Jed Lowry, another former Red Sox. I think I'm still starting Ellie. Langford is like the really high prospect pedigree. He dominated in the minors in 2023. Then last year was a bit of a disappointment, I would say. But he was arguably the best left fielder in baseball for the last half of the season. So that's not a zero. He was one of the best base runners last year, one of the best defensive outfielders. He was plus 14 DRS. He finished with a 112 OPS plus. He got to some power. He had 16 homers, 19 steals. So I think it's still in there. Like, if I had to bet on one of them to win an MVP, I think it would be Ellie. If I had to bet on one of them to make the All-Star game, okay, take that back.
Yeah, if I had to bet,
if I had to bet on one to be at an All-Star level, I think I would go Langford. Ellie gets the benefit. Granted, National League shortstop is a very deep spot.
Yeah,
for context, Francisco Lindor, as a Met, has not made the All-Star game. Part of that is Francisco Lindor's the shape of his seasons. They like being thick in the back, if you will. So I think like if you had to, who would be a 5-win player? Langford maybe by a hair, because he's a plus base runner. He's a plus fielder. Not at shortstop, but I think the ceiling as a hitter, not the ceiling, the floor as a hitter is higher. Ellie just has a lot of swing and miss still. This season he's at a last year he led the league in strikeouts with 218. His strikeout rate is down 0.5 percentage point. So he still walks. That's good. He's played plus defense. That's good. He's stealing bases. He has 10 steals. only 2 caught. He still hits the ball hard, 51% hard hit rate. He's hitting it on the ground a little bit too much, but I don't know. I think I would take Ellie first here, but I don't think you're going wrong if you take Langford.
Yeah, no, I think both of them are solid, fantastic options here.
Mm.
And again, it sucks that on this list, Christian Campbell's just kind of the odd man out.
Yeah,
because
he's been really good. A 140 OPS plus so far.
Yeah.
He's played all around the diamond. He is so good. He was such a valued commodity in the Red Sox organization. He turns 23 in June, by the way. He's such a value in the Red Sox organization that they decided to move Rafi Devers to DH. Like, that is the value proposition that, we want Christian Campbell playing second base in the big leagues. We don't need Alex Bregman there. We don't want Devers playing third. We want Campbell not only in the big leagues, we want him pushing Alex Bregman to third and pushing Rafi Devers to DH. And we're going to play him over Yoshida as like a value proposition. If you're deciding between Bregman at second plus Devers at third plus Yoshida at DH versus Campbell at second, Bregman at third, Devers at DH, the Red Sox have said, we're going to take Campbell in our lineup. He's played some center this season. He played it in his most recent outing. He's played a little bit of left. He hasn't been great defensively. He's been fine, passable, but like there's value in him sticking at second base, and I think there's value. The Red Sox have decided, he's going to be under contract with them through 2032. He could be under contract with them through 2034. Not a real year. I'm just saying that, not a real year. But a real year, It is encouraging to me that both Ellie and Campbell have made some adjustments to their profiles. Ellie at the big league level, of course, and Campbell in the minors, at Georgia Tech, and then in the minors. That Campbell is really like dominated from like a bat speed perspective. He tattoos the baseball. He just gets a lot of power out of his frame. He's 6'3", 191. So I think he can grow into even more power. He has plus plate discipline so far at 15% walk rate. So that is a really potentially dominant profile, especially as a second baseman. Like, what second basemans are walking 15% of the time with plus power? I'll take that. Then again, Ellie is walking a plus, not 15%, but he's around 10%, playing a perfectly good defense at short with obscene tools.
Yeah.
So if he, figures out his switch hitting ability, he is much, much better from the left side than the right side. If he figures out a little bit, if he cuts it down to 25% strikeout rate, like strikeouts, like we can get a little carried away with the strikeouts. 30% is getting to be untenable. If you're 25%, okay, fine. You're around league average, but 30% getting to be untenable. So trim the strikeouts a little bit, rein in a couple of the errors, and you have like a guy that could win multiple MVPs in a league with Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, it's a fun conversation here to go with. So we'll go into my last one here.
Sure.
And talking about Donovan Solano here got me thinking about good first baseman. And so
okay. Sure.
Well, it got me dreaming of good first baseman. But I have three for you here, and I want to get your take on these three. And I'm not going superstar levels with these.
Okay.
I want to go a little bit more kind of under the radar, but still good. Still pretty darn good.
Sure.
So first off, with first baseman, we have the Pasquatch, Vinny Pasquantino. You have oh my gosh, I just blanked on his first name. We have Soderstrom.
Tyler
Soderstrom. I was trying to say Jake. I'm like, I know it's not Jake.
That's
Tyler
Jake
Soderstrom,
Wilson.
thank you. And Josh Naylor. Those are my three here for start trade cut.
Okay. Well, Soderstrom, of course, leads the majors in homers right now.
Yeah.
This is like buying him at the peak and buying Pasquantino at the nadir here.
Mm-hmm.
Then Naylor's sort of in between. Naylor's the oldest of the bunch. Soderstrom's 23. I think I have to. This is a tough one. Okay. I don't want to overreact too much to Soderstrom being, Barry Bonds so far. The 620 slug, we like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're all fine defensively. I feel like the easy answer would be to trade Soderstrom because he would have the highest value.
Yep.
So if I'm
tell you, that's where I'm
interested
at.
in building the best team, I don't think Soderstrom is so much better than Naylor or Pasquantino. I don't think Naylor and Pasquantino are elevated in their ballpark situations, especially Pasquantino. Even Naylor in Arizona, that's a bad fit for his swing profile. While Soderstrom is playing in a minor league ballpark. So that's going to be at least a couple of his home runs have been White Sox related, and a couple of his home runs have been Sutter Health Park related. So I think I'll trade Soderstrom, recoup the value, and hopefully I'm in a better hitting ballpark than Arizona, at least for Naylor's profile. I know they play at a reasonable elevation, so that helps. But and then Pasquatch, I just wonder if it's going to take. I know Naylor's going to be a good hitter. I think Pasquatch is going to be a good hitter. So I think I would start Naylor, trade Soderstrom, and sorry, Pasquatch, you can stay in Kansas City, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on this. Pasquantino, I love him, but of these three, I just think he's outclassed a bit.
Mhm.
And I'm not talking about fully. Like I would love to see a Pasquantino full on, power season, right?
Mhm.
But I'm trading Soderstrom because of the idea of I'm selling high on him.
Mhm.
Like I don't think that what he's doing is sustainable for him. But I'm gonna sell high on him, and I'll start Josh and build around Josh Naylor. I think he's about as solid of a first baseman as you could really get, especially of this group here.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good first baseman. He hits the ball well. He plays decent enough defense. Not incredible, but enough.
It's fine.
And he is the one of these three that, like, all right, Soderstrom, I think, has overall the highest upside, but he also has the lowest ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I think of the three of these. Vinny Pasquantino is very good, but he basically comes down to take two. It comes down between him and Naylor for starting at that point, and I trust Naylor more than I trust Pasquantino. So, and Soderstrom's getting traded because of that value, selling high on him.
That's fair. I will point out that Soderstrom has been playing left field recently, so we'll see how that goes.
I use MLB.com for the positions.
No, that's fine. Soderstrom is like officially the A's first baseman this season. Like he has on Baseball Reference, he has the asterisk next to his name. But yeah, he's been playing some left field to get Nick Kurtz into the lineup. So congratulations to one of the newest players in Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that was a fun segment.
I agree. I like that. If you guys like that, let us know what you guys think on Twitter or on YouTube here. Let us know who would you start, trade, or cut from these. Do you think that Tyler Soderstrom needs to be built around? Like people need to build around him and all that. Please let us know.
Do you think Christian Campbell is the best of the bunch? That I would be interested in hearing the argument.
I would love to do that argument.
I will let you talk it through with me.
Yeah.
I think Langford and Ellie have shown a little bit more at the major league level, but if you think the prospect pedigree is so good and you think Christian Campbell, it's sort of like the Jalen Hurts method or the Kawhi Leonard method, that he's just going to keep getting better and better and better, there's no ceiling, fine. I'd like to hear it. So Alex, I heard through the grapevine, might be from you, that you have trivia today.
I do in fact have trivia today. The birdie that told you was correct. Here,
okay.
So
thanks, Bird.
What's cool here is that it's just also a podcast. They know Mac, he's off doing fun things. Here, so Bird is I'm the biggest bird. Anyway, it's just you and I.
Didn't you know that Big Bird was going to be on the Challenger?
Oh, that's
dark.
Very dark. Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very.
Alternate History Hub made a fascinating video about it. Check it out. It's a little dark, but Big Bird.
Yeah. Anyway, on to happier topics. It's just you and I on the podcast saying, something that we share. It's a love for MLB Power Pros 2008.
Yes.
So I have compiled for you 5 questions. Just 5.
5.
And I have labeled these as pretty darn hard. I think that you will have a pretty good chance at getting these. But I will tell you, I was really trying to find questions that I think I could stump you on. And to make it a little harder on myself, I only choose one from each mode that I wanted to do from.
Okay.
I didn't do all S or all MLB Life. The modes that you will have a question for are Success Mode, MLB Life, Season Mode, Exhibition, and Wii Remote Mode.
Oh God.
So,
I don't think I've played Wii Remote mode in at least 12 years.
man, it means you're going to have a little harder time getting that question right then, son.
All right.
All right, so I will let you choose. What do you want to start with?
We'll start with Wii Remote.
All right, cool. Wii Remote Mode. What is the name of the team of Mii's called? Wii Remote Mode, by the way, the only mode here that lets you play with Mii's in the game, and it's like, and they have their own specific team name. What is it?
I'm gonna just say the Powerfuls. That's
so close. It's the Powerful Controllers.
Oh no!
You were as a first shot in the dark guess. That was pretty darn close.
Wow. Okay, tough scenes. Okay.
All right. Where do you want to go to next?
We'll go season mode.
Season mode. All right. Players from success mode can appear in season mode here through the register feature. Where do these players go?
Well,
after you've registered them, where do they go?
Well, it depends on when you register them. If you register them
during the game, during a season, like after you've already started your season.
Okay. Then they go into the free agency pool.
There you go. You got that one absolutely right. They go into free agency.
So the home of Hideo Nomo,
yep,
Dan Johnson, etc.
Very beautiful. All right, 1 for 2. Where are you going to next?
We'll go MLB Life.
MLB Life. All right. What are the conditions to meet Anna as a potential girlfriend?
Oh.
I'm not telling you anything more about her because I will give it away.
I want to say she's the charity chick that if you donate a certain amount of money or you not even it has something to do with charity, donating money, doing the signing balls and bats and whatnot for kids, going to those events.
Okay, is that your answer?
Yes.
I'm not going to give it to you, but you're close. So you are correct that Anna is the charity worker. But in order to get her as a potential girlfriend and all that, is you have to donate around $100,000 through either anonymous donations or through your donated charity from your own stats.
Okay, I will. I'm going to give myself that one.
Okay, you give yourself that. I was looking for the exact number of 100,000.
Oh, okay.
But if you want to give yourself that's
yes, I'm giving myself that one.
Fair enough. Because I told you, I made these hard because you embarrassed me on the LV Power Pros board I made for you last time.
Okay.
So, all right.
Let's go to success mode.
All right. Success mode. My personal favorite, I believe, potentially yours too, or is your season?
Probably season.
Fair enough.
Well, I've been going through major withdrawals.
Fair enough. I may play it on stream today. We'll see. Anyway.
Fun.
In the Marvin's Paranoia random event final scene, Marvin tries to break the game logic by giving you 6 items. Name them.
Okay, not gonna lie, I thought they were randomly generated.
Nope, it's the same every time.
So I have to name 6 unique items.
6 unique items. If you get close, I'll tell you what. Because you've struggled on a bit of this, if you can name 4 of them.
Okay.
I will give
we're gonna go with the power in.
Okay.
We're gonna go with a one of the mind focus balls.
Okay.
We're gonna go with a handbag.
Okay.
We're gonna go with a carryover chocolate. We're gonna go with a shiny fragrance, and we're going to go with a Gonna go with a Power in DX.
I cannot give you the points. You got
Tough.
2 correct.
Okay.
Here, so the ones that you got correct were the Power Run DX, and I'm giving you the pricey handbag.
Okay.
Because that's the last one he gives. The other items that Marvin gives you are a Power Run Special, candy, a chocolate sponge cake, not the carryover chocolate.
Okay.
And the discount coupon.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I love that event. That's honestly one of my favorites because it's just Marvin freaking the hell out. Like, I'm in the simulation. What's going on here? And look, here's the thing. He's completely right. He just can't know it. It's brilliant.
Imagine how like sad it must be. Like if you're the secondary character in like a career mode.
Oh my gosh.
Like if you're I played a lot of NBA 2K. Like if you're I forget what his name is, but like if you're the like the nemesis of the main character. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like Jackson, it's like Jackson something. It's not Jackson Dart, new Giants quarterback. It's like Jackson Allen or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it must be tough being like the second
team.
banana in like being Marvin.
Yeah, exactly.
And being Marvin in every simulation.
On top of it, I just love the idea of he's like, I don't remember anything I did before we got to AA baseball. I don't remember anything of past hopes and dreams.
Yeah,
that cloud there has always been there the same.
A hamburger.
Hamburger.
All right, Alex, close it out.
All right, close it out with the exhibition question.
Okay.
And this is not so much about the mode exhibition because there's not much to work with there.
I'm 2.3 out of 4 right now.
You're at 54%. No. Anyway.
Yes.
All right. In exhibition mode, while the Great Gonzalez is better known in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, MLB Power Bros. Has its own Great Gonzalez. Who is he supposed to represent?
Well, Great Gonzalez is Barry Bonds.
Yep, you got it. It's Barry Bonds. Yeah. So I look. Paper Mario is one of my favorite games. I had to put a Great Gonzalez question in here. Yes. Anyway, also just funny debate. All right, so you got 3.4. You got pi out of 5.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah,
we'll take it.
As instead of the
we got the golden ratio out of 5.
You know what? We absolutely sadly
that wouldn't be out of 5. It's divided by 5 anyway. So we got the golden ratio.
Pi divided by 5 multiplied by the circumference of Johnny Cueto's hat. Anyway.
Okay, no, never mind. The golden ratio is 1 plus the square root of 5. My bad. Or divided by 2. Okay, my bad.
There's a reason why we're not a math podcast.
Well, I would actually. The golden ratio is about 83%. I'll. You know what? I'll take that. That's better than pi out of 5. We'll take golden ratio.
You didn't get golden ratio. Though.
Hey, man! You didn't know what the golden ratio was.
Yeah, but you just told me, and you're not that.
Shush. Okay, we're somewhere between pi and the golden ratio, or pi out of 5 and the golden ratio. Somewhere in between that.
You got pi out of 5. That's your score you've taken or your
I was better than pi out of 5.
No, you weren't. You're actually worse than that.
No.
Yeah, because you didn't get the success mode question correct.
I got 2 out of 6.
You got 2 out of 6. I originally wanted you to get all 6.
I got 2 out of 6.
And then I lowered it down to 4 for you.
I will count it as 1/3 of a correct answer.
I will not. Anyway.
Okay. This is rigged. I am being discriminated against. Why am I dropping in the draft? I need to do that bad. Why is Tyler Shuck going ahead of me? Why are the Browns drafting 2 quarterbacks? And this isn't even like a Kirk Cousins RG3 thing. This isn't like you draft 1 in the first round, 1 later in the draft. Why are you drafting a guy in the 3rd round and a guy in the 5th round? Why are you drafting Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round? If you just swapped Shadur and Gabriel, that'd be weird drafting Gabriel in the 5th. But regardless. Anyways, it's time for everyone's favorite segment, our time to ourselves. Alex, would you like to go first today?
Yeah, I can do this.
Okay. So I'll give you a countdown. 3, 2, 1.
So I'm going back to wrestling. I don't care if no one likes it. I'm doing it anyway. So last weekend was WrestleMania. And there's a lot of matches I could talk about here. The Cena versus Rhodes was definitely interesting. Honestly, I like it just from a story point aspect here. I think it's fun. But I'm going to talk about the person that is my name on this. Joe Hendry being the surprise opponent for Randy Orton. I screamed when I heard his music. I was so excited. Joe Hendry is, I think, right now my favorite wrestler. And just knowing the story of where he comes from, and like just a year ago, he was performing for maybe a couple thousand people at the very most here. And at WrestleMania, he had 60-some thousand people all chanting his name and singing his song. It was beautiful. I don't care that the match itself was not good. It was whatever it was, right? And I think that Orton still put Hendry over, even though he lost in just a few minutes, because at the very least, he got to do some of his moves, and Orton acknowledged fully that Hendry is going to be there. And then on top of it, Triple H saying in the press conference that he talked with Joe and said, look, go out and enjoy this one, because this is not your last Mania, and it only gets more stressful from here. So I love the fact that Joe is being now part of all this. I don't buy much wrestling merch unless I'm actually there. For the very first time ever, I actually online ordered a wrestling shirt. I ordered Joe Hendry's WrestleMania shirt, and it's sadly not going to get here till like near the end of May. But I believe in Joe Hendry. I love him.
No notes. I couldn't tell you 3 words of what you said.
The only 3 words you need to know are say his name. That's all you need to know.
That is 3 words.
Also, Gigi.
Hello, Gigi.
She is hunting. Anyway. All right, you ready to go?
Sure thing.
All right, your time begins in 3, 2, 1.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, bozos and bozettes. The NFL draft is on. The NFL draft is fun. I have a sort of, I don't want to say a love-hate relationship, but it can be tough getting like deep into the weeds year after year after year. Now part of this is like being a Ravens fan and knowing they draft in the back half of the first round, and like I don't want to get super excited about some prospects and know they'll never be a Raven, right? So it was exciting this year to see Ashton Genty go to the Raiders. It was nice to have a Boise State guy to follow. Goes number 6 overall. Hopefully I'll have his jersey pretty soon. But yeah, it's when you have passions, I think it's important to have like different like tiers of passion, and that's okay, right? It's like some years I'm really into the NFL draft. 2022, I had dozens and dozens of scouting reports. I was getting paid to write scouting reports. I had a big board with 250 players on it. I was ranking guys at every position, and had like legitimate draft opinions about guys that went in the 6th round, and not even like a Shedeur, sure went in the 5th, but not even like a Shedeur, like a guy that fell, like guys that legitimately were 5th round caliber players. I had opinions on, and this year I couldn't tell you. I can't tell you much about Colston Loveland. He went number 10 overall. I know he's Michigan tight end. I couldn't tell you anything about his profile. I couldn't tell you much about maybe half the first round, probably. Like, obviously, I know Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Cam Ward. But it's important to have like tiers of, what you enjoy doing. So the NFL draft is something some years I enjoy doing. Last year, I was just not involved at all. This year, not really involved. 2 years ago, I had some scouting reports. 2022, I was all over it. 2019, 2020, I was doing a lot of mock drafts. This year, I didn't do a single mock draft. So that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest here. For me, this is the lowest interest I've had in the NFL in a good while. And I think yes, it does have to do with the Seahawks and all that, but honestly, I've just kind of lost a lot of it. Like, I enjoy watching the games. I can break down the games pretty well, but for me, I'm all baseball. That's where I'm at. Football will always be secondary to me for that reason.
Yeah, I've gone through stretches that baseball's been my one or football's been my one. I've had times that basketball was my one. And I think it's just like I've been listening to a lot of basketball podcasts lately. Like last week, I went on a kick of doing the Book of Basketball 2.0 podcast from Bill Simmons. Like basketball history is right in my wheelhouse. I wish there was a baseball version of that. That's one reason why I like the Tim Kirkchin podcast that he does with his son Jeff. Is this a great game or what? Great podcast, by the way. There's like history elements. There's like contemporary elements. They have interviews. They have all sorts of stuff. So it's like that's an enjoyable product. Sometimes it's like I don't need to listen to 180 baseball podcasts. Like Race and Barrels, great podcast. I don't need to listen to it every single day. Effectively Wild, they're again great podcast. Do I need it every single week, 3 times a week? I don't know. Locked On Braves. I listen to all those because I am a Braves fan, but like I listen to Locked On MLB, for example, sometimes, or I listen to other teams Locked On. Like they have, I like the Rockies host. I like the Tigers host. There's a couple hosts that are a smidge annoying. There are a couple really awesome hosts, but I don't find a lot of interest in the team. But that's okay.
Yeah, fair enough. Like for me, the only podcast I care about is Losses Above Replacement.
Absolutely.
Best podcast to grace your ears.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can follow us on Twitter or X at LAR_baseball. Also on Instagram, LAR_baseball. YouTube, LAR_baseball. Thankfully, we got all 3. You can be our 1,000 subscriber on YouTube. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome.
If you want to follow along with what we're doing, you can follow me at Mr. Splashman19. You can follow Alex at the Sports Guy 242. Mac's not here. He's on the Browns, but you can follow him at Matthias_A_K. Sorry, Shador. I don't know what your Twitter handle is. I think it's just Shador Sanders. But regardless, any final words?
Baseball's awesome. Logan Gilbert, please be healthy. Cam Ward, go Cougs.
That is a generational run.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Well, Alex, over under 17.5 walks for Marcelo Ozuna tonight.
Oh, you gotta smash the over.
I think so too. It's like every plate appearance he walks. So
exactly.
We're gonna walk our way out of here. We'll see you next week.